Someone call them and remind you.
I'm going to call the meeting to order.
We got 27 and,
Was that a good number or?
yeah, that's a good number.
Officer Bratton, would you
And
read
15 of that 27, so maybe only 27 is,
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
17.
roll call.
Councilmember Eric Kranz,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hagerty.
Here. Okay, we'll have our introductions now. Why don't we start with
Good morning, I'm Brandon Ford, I'm your new chief of police.
why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, President?
Want me to turn on this microphone?
Yes.
Good morning. Like I said, my name's Brandon Ford. I'm sheriff's captain. By virtue of that, I serve as your chief of police here in Canyon Lake. I've been with the sheriff's department for about 20 years. I'm a local guy. Born in San Diego, but raised in San Jacinto. I graduated San Jacinto High School, graduated from Mount San Jacinto Junior College, and am a Cal State product after that. Go Coyotes. I've worked quite a few different assignments with the Sheriff's Department. I was a homicide detective for quite a few years. I was a homicide sergeant. I did a short tour in one of our jails, but the last couple of years I've been the commander, the captain for our Sheriff's Professional Standards Bureau, and in that capacity I manage internal affairs, which we handle all the complaints against department members, and we also manage all the department lawsuits. So anytime somebody sues the Sheriff's Department, my unit will go out and collect information relevant to that and support the defense of lawsuits. And I'm incredibly fortunate to be coming in on the heels of Captain Mike Judge. He did a great job here at the Paris Station, and I'm very much looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. Okay.
Lieutenant Earl Quinata, I'm the Canyon Lake Police Department Lieutenant.
Nancy Carroll, Emergency Preparedness.
Ivan Henry, Special Enforcement.
Jean Bochelle, Code Enforcement.
Mike Feeny, Special Enforcement.
Jan Bratton, Animal Control.
Okay.
Kirsten Rowe, Administrative Services Manager.
Ariel Hall, interim city manager.
And our names are here, so we don't need to introduce ourselves. I would like to move that we accept our meeting minutes from the last meeting.
So moved.
Okay, let's start with animal control.
Got a little bit wet, folks. Hello. Okay, so the numbers for the month of December are, after hours calls, we did 5. We responded to 111 calls. We worked 71 hours in your city. We did 3 quarantines of animals that bit humans. We issued 87 citations.
Wow.
39 notices of violation. We had 1 hearing for barking dog nuisance. We sold 130 dog licenses. We put on 612 miles on our vehicles. Owners turned in 6 dogs in December. 8 stray dogs were impounded in December. Owners turned in 3 cats, and we impounded 3 stray cats. We had no owner turn-in of other animals such as birds, turtles, walruses, none of those. We impounded 3 wildlife, that would be like owls and things like that. There were 9 animals abandoned at the night drop at the shelter and 7 cats abandoned at the night drop at the shelter. We did 3 animal welfare checks. We did 2 vicious dog responses and responded to 8 noise nuisances. We responded to 5 confined stray animal calls. No incidents, which is bites to dog versus dog, dog versus raccoon, none of those this month. Picked up 2 dead animals, responded to 0 rattlesnakes in December. November, we still had some, but they're all sleeping now, we hope. Okay, we had 18 running at large dogs that we responded to, 1 injured animal, 1 trapped animal, and no kennel or cattery violations.
All that in December?
All that in December.
Wow.
It was an exciting month, huh?
Actually, it's down a little from last year in most cases.
Yeah, when it starts to get busy
Last
again would be March. March we start to, because the time changes and everybody's out and about, then they're reporting things that we wouldn't know about.
I want to ask you something. I was not aware of this. I don't know if everybody else is, and I just was blonde about it. Is there a kennel, portable kennel at Eastgate that you can take stray dogs to?
Absolutely, Northgate.
Or Northgate, I mean?
Always has been.
I was
It's
not aware.
covered, has a little dog house in there. The animal, or the patrol people down there at that end have some dog food available for when a dog goes in that kennel. And then when you call us, we will come and pick it up the very next day. We don't respond after hours. You don't really want that billing anyways,
Yeah.
because it's perfectly secure and safe. In the kennel, we have a lock with a code. And so,
Now, is that advertised? Was everybody else aware of this?
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
Were you?
No.
Oh, I feel better. Okay.
the main problem that we had, and I don't know what your rules are now, but your patrol vehicles were not allowed to transport an animal that they might have found in their vehicles. So a private citizen can go and take the dog to the kennel, or cat, or what have you. If you have a dead animal, you can take it down there to the kennel, leave it in a bag by the side of the kennel, and we'll come pick it up. We just need to be notified the next day.
Okay, is that printed in the Friday flyer occasionally, or, I mean, how?
I don't know, but
How do
I just
people
know
know
I've been
about
doing
that?
this job for almost 15 years, and that kennel's always been there.
Yeah.
It's a nice little kennel.
Community patrol accepts it, is that after hours?
After hours, my understanding at this point is that your community patrol is not allowed to put the animal, if they find a little dog running loose, they're not allowed to put it in their vehicle and transport it over there. But they can tell the private citizen, if you caught it and you don't want to keep it in your home overnight, you can take it down to the kennel and we'll admit it into the kennel and let animal control know.
So,
That's how I understand it is now. Because used to be, back in the day, you guys would wrangle them up, you know, if we weren't there first and you guys got it first, you guys would just take them down to the kennel and let us know they were there. So,
So community patrol opens the kennel then for them.
we have the lock code. But yes, I believe they also have the code. It's one of those punch, everybody knows the number, except for the citizens, I think.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions from anybody?
Nobody has questions about the number of citations we wrote this month?
It seems like a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot.
It was a huge amount. We did a little bit of canvassing, and, you know, Riverside County is a high rabies area, so, and in the state, the rabies vaccination is required by law, because rabies is fatal. So, we try to keep that vaccination up to date. The licensing helps to offset your costs for animal control, and it keeps people aware of, oh, my rabies is about to expire. And then also, if we find a loose dog in Canyon Lake, we can go by the tag, get it back to its owner. So I hit spots you know, some down by Happy Camp, and then a few in the middle, and then not too many down by the dog park, because the people down there don't like us very good. So, but I kind of hit and miss.
Do you just go to the door?
I just go to the door, and we have a printout of who has licenses. Go to the door, verify that those are the same dogs, or if it's a new dog, give them information, how to license, and right before Christmas, I only gave a notice of violation, which was, you need to get your license in order. A few weeks prior to that, I think I was in the city in November a little bit too, I actually gave citations, which give 30 days to correct. So it gives you plenty of time to go down. I gave information on our low-cost clinic, which is a no appointment, walk on in, $6 for your rabies, 5 days a week. You really can't beat that. So, and we also have a spay and neuter clinic open now. That's low cost. So try to give a lot of information as to the benefits of spay and neuter, and plus it's a lot cheaper to license your dog. And didn't meet too many people that were objecting, couple, and I didn't push it with them, you know. I just gave them the information that they needed. And so that's why there's a big old jump on that.
Would you do me a favor? Would you write down just like this, the kennel, where it's located and how to.
You know where the administrative office is down there?
And the cost, rabies, and any of the services that you provide.
Sure.
And what the citation cost is if they don't adhere to the rules.
If they
And
just-
maybe, I'm gonna ask Sharon Rice if she'll publish a little article in the paper just to remind
Okay.
everybody.
Sure, sure. I will, actually I'll have Willa to write that up, because she's, you know, I'm just,
Yeah, just whatever you think would be pertinent information
Yeah.
that, you know, people should know.
okay.
And then I'd like to
Sure,
get
and
that
then
published again.
I have one question for you that I got asked so many times and there were different answers. Is there a status, or is there even a dog park going in at the east gate?
Yes,
There is one going in, we don't
Yes.
know when.
no.
Are the dogs allowed to run loose in that area now, off leash?
Off the record,
No.
I'm not gonna answer that. Let me just say this.
There is one going in?
The people that have been going to that area have been going there for 20 years.
Granted.
With their dogs. Not been problems, it's
Right.
just been a nice, friendly, convenient
Right.
dog park area, while people struggled to get a dog park. Finally, when I was on the board, we decided we were gonna have a dog park. We picked a location, and the dog park people had a fit, they didn't want that location. We picked another location, they didn't like that one. They wanted it at East Gate, that's where they wanted it. So
Okay.
the other locations would have been better, it was allocated for it. But the problem there is the runoff into the lake. There are a lot of regulations
Oh,
as far
sure.
as runoff into the lake is concerned. So it's more costly and it has to be engineered.
Right.
Ultimately, I think the board, this was after I left, I think the board bowed to their demands. And it has been, as I understand, it has been engineered. And it's a bureaucratic process, and I think the money has been allocated. So it's just a matter of getting permits, getting all the
Right,
approvals
okay.
from the various
So fully
departments of
understand all
health
that.
and the water and everybody else in the
So
government.
it's in
that
the
has-
works.
It is.
My question specifically is, do I need to enforce that sign that says all dogs need to be on leash?
I would not suggest it in that area.
Okay.
I think they've been kind of just allowing it to happen since it's been going on so long. And there was a little fuss about it a year ago. One individual tried to stir up a little fuss about it, but it died down, and they keep thinking it's gonna happen, so they've been kind of just looking the other way. But at this point, if you have concerns, I would call Chris Mitchell and maybe have a little chat with him.
Yeah, no, I just needed to know, you know, what am I gonna tell the citizens? Because for a while we were canvassing up there, there had been some complaints to us about, you know, this guy's got an aggressive dog, it's being too friendly with my little dog, I don't like it to be so close to my dog, why don't you put it on a leash?
Yeah, well, we always have this.
So, yeah, so if you, once you put your dog in a confined area that says this is a dog park, then
Then you have-
folks that don't like it can leave.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I would say that for clarification, you might want to sit down with Chris Mitchell, who is the general manager, and the two of you can kind of discuss where it's at. And
Okay, yeah, that wouldn't be me, but I will,
I'm not telling you
Relay
not
that.
to issue citations.
okay.
I want to get that very clear.
Yeah, no, I don't want to, I just want to educate people, because when your dog's not easily brought back to you, if there is one that doesn't like your dog, then you're endangering your own dog.
Yeah.
You know, and plus the liability, if your dog doesn't like that person, if you can go like this, it's not gonna bite them. But if it's way out there, you know, just, come on, I don't know, I'm gonna bite this guy instead.
And it's
This
been the
happens.
same group there, so there have not been, once in a while you get some new person in and, you know, they adjust and it's all worked itself out.
Yeah,
But
that's what I found, I just wanted the,
yeah,
basically
Talk to
standing
us.
on whether the park is being built, so that's good.
okay.
It will happen. Okay, very good. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Back to the ring. Thank you. El Nino has started.
There you go. Have fun.
Yeah. Oh, you see my shoes?
Yeah.
Okay, Nancy.
I like to speak to the whole group. We have a CERT class coming up, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a 20-hour class. You have to be there all 20 hours to get credit for it. We have 27 people coming, probably 15 to 17 of those are Canyon Lakers. A third of those, or half of those, are already on the emergency preparedness, but they're new people, and we like to get as many people through the CERT class that are in our group as we can. Ham radio check every Monday night at 7 o'clock. Happens every Monday night at 7 o'clock. Life scan is started. I have turned in the first 20 people, and they'll pick and choose who they are. Kirsten and I already talked about who I think should be first. And as soon as we get the top people in the emergency preparedness, the area coordinators, EOC leader, me, those people, then we have some new people that are real anxious to be in our group, and they come to the meetings and they really want to get their badges and so forth. And we've just kind of been holding off until we do the life scan thing. So, but we do have about 8 new members. We have a doctor and his wife who will be giving a class on the 29th, I think, on the psychological behavior of people during a disaster and how to handle those. They are going to be giving out CEUs to get the RNs and doctors to come, although the doctors won't get the CEUs, but the RNs will. And that's just a draw to get them in to come to the class. With that little earthquake that we had last week, we followed what Lucy asked everybody to do. I called the area coordinators in Canyon Lake and put the radio people on alert, and we sent out an email just simply saying, just be alert, make sure you know where all your paperwork is and whatever you need to do, whatever job you have. And that was that. Amen.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Nancy? Thank you, Nancy. And as always, thank you for all your dedication. Okay, we have a written report for the fire department.
Yes, there's a report on the back counter that has a list of all of the calls that we received and the average response time. Looks like the average response time was 4.8 minutes.
Okay. Calls were down. Okay. And the police department lieutenant, Quinana.
Good morning, everyone. December stats for
the Canyon Lake Police Department. I have some stat sheets in the back, if you don't have one. Department handled 282 calls for the month of December. We're down 6 calls from last month. The prior month, we had a total of 8 Part 1 crimes. That went down 5 from the previous month, where we had 13. As I run through the stat sheet, we had 4 grand thefts. I always take note of some of those that, where we have unsecured cars. We try to push it as much as part of the crime prevention. Out of those 4 grand thefts, the last one, we had a suspect in custody. That was some good work by your Securitas patrol, as well as our deputy, who basically saw this individual on the street, made contact with him because he had some cuts on him. Turns out he was a suspect in stealing a bicycle worth $1,400 out of a garage. Securitas saw the suspect on the bicycle and dropped the bike and left. So we had him in custody, and the victim positively identified that was his bike and where it was. So that was a good case on our part, their part together. Vehicle theft, that one is just one of those where stolen out of Canyon Lake, recovered in Marietta PD area. So from forecasting on crime trends, someone's coming in, taking it somewhere else to dump it off. I get special notes when I see what vehicle taken, and on the other side of the lake it's dumped or recovered, but this was recovered in Marietta. 2 theft from vehicles, one of those we're currently doing some follow-up on with the homeowner. Follow up on some transactions that were done outside of Canyon Lake. 5 vandalisms. On the back sheet, 2 public intoxications, several citations, no DUIs, and listed non-criminal traffic collisions that we've taken inside the lake and outside Railroad Canyon. Questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Forget what it was on. Never mind, I've forgotten what it was.
Sir?
Yeah, it's one
Just
I
for
noted.
I'm sorry.
Pardon me?
For clarification, this suspect throwing rocks, Railroad Canyon Road and Canyon Lake Drive, commercial building. Where was the commercial building? Is this in the town center?
It's in the town center, and I didn't see it go any further down by the gym. That could be one area. But I saw that, I immediately linked it up with something that occurred in Menifee, where there was some other rock thrown or blown out of the entrance door of glass. So I'm trying to link those 2 up to see if they're similar MOs. But yeah, it would be all the commercial strip that you see up there.
You mean throwing rocks to break glass to get in or something?
Sometimes like we had in Temecula where, they want to see what the response or reaction is. They'll throw the glass, if there's a vibration, will an alarm company come? So it's a precursor, and we've had that in Temecula where the case came through that we all were just privy on, and somebody just broke through, hit a hammer on a safe and left, watched. So that's some level of sophistication, or just they could be trying to just break out the window. So, because I know we had kids off during the break.
I remember what it was. On the vehicle thefts, are the new cameras up and running where they can identify people driving out?
No, I've been working with GM Mitchell, and I've been trying to just let me know when they go online. I met with them early on to say, would love to have a camera here, would love to have this, love to have that. So I think he's trying to accommodate those requests, because several cases where we asked for the video footage, you guys going out at 9 o'clock at night, we just see a shadow, the car just driving through with nothing that can illuminate. So
Yeah.
the camera system is going to be a little bit more, more technology based. place where I can maybe get a face and the license plate.
Yeah, I think that's tied in probably to the main gate
Yes,
construction, so that's why it's been held up, because that was ready to go a couple of years ago.
right.
So,
And
but I think it's hung up because of the main gate.
one of the biggest things was
That'll be help.
the technology on the camera. As
Yeah,
I said, we really need some good cameras. If you're gonna do this right,
good
that would
camp.
be your best.
Yeah.
Would help us out tremendously.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
One last question, so I understand the report. This vandalism and public intoxication, were all these suspects caught, or?
No.
These are just reports?
These are reports. When I have someone in custody, I'll highlight it like I have in a grand theft, I'll say suspect arrested. And in some of those, there was a couple that they had a confrontation, one with the party. By the time the person came out, her window was blown out, she couldn't recognize them if they saw them, and they had left by then, so. I wish they were all in custody. Yes, ma'am.
If we get the cameras, or when we get the cameras, are we gonna get them at all 3 gates?
That's what I'm hearing. I mean, like, for example, this main gate, you know, one of the biggest things is when we see the car coming out, I'd like to know if they went left or right. Like Elsinore and Menifee. It helps out, because then we have cameras along the corridor that maybe we can look out down at the Shell gas station, and little things like that. So, the GM is amicable to that suggestion, so I was like, good, thank you.
Yeah, well, you know, if we don't have them at all 3 gates, they'll just figure out, okay, let's go out the east or north gate.
Yeah.
So you gotta have them at all
I
3
think
gates.
that, I think the intention
Or
was
you're
all
wasting
three.
your money.
Yeah.
All three.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also are planning on putting them at various locations that seem to be the higher crime areas for just vandalism. You know, like a couple of the parks, campground area, just so that they can possibly identify people.
That'd be good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Jean.
Good morning. For the month of December, code enforcement, we had 9 bank-owned properties that are registered with the city, so that we have a contact person for maintenance or other issues. If the house is broke into or that, we can let the bank know. We removed signs from the right-of-way and the landscaping at the shopping center. These would be illegal signs that they don't have a sign permit, and they don't, some of them aren't even for businesses in our center. It is advertising, lose 20 pounds, crazy stuff. We completed the inspections on the vacant properties for renewal of registration. That would be our foreclosed houses that are already in our program, that we go out and do monthly inspections on to make sure they haven't been broke into, and to verify that they're still vacant so that they can do their renewal. And inspection complaints of properties, yeah, we had a lot of, maybe it was because of the holidays and people having company or that, but we had a lot of complaints on people's properties not being maintained. And it was usually a next door neighbor or somebody across the street, and they didn't like how they were mowing the lawn, or they had something on the front porch. We went out on them, most of them were unfounded. Had a lot of complaints on trees where, and it may be because of El Nino, but we're getting a lot of complaints about trees growing over people's fences. And I've been telling the property owners they own from the ground to the sky, and they can trim that tree back, but they want the city to get involved, and I really can't, that would be civil, trying to force somebody to trim their tree. So, but we do go out and look at it, because maybe there is a safety issue where we could get involved, but so far it's been healthy, beautiful trees that have just overgrown onto the other property. Let me see what else we have here. On the abandoned vehicles, we had one vehicle that finally was repaired. He was waiting on the ignition. It was a 20-some-year-old car, so his pride and joy. And we had several complaints on inoperable cars, but when we went out, they didn't meet the requirements for being inoperable or abandoned. If they're in somebody's driveway, they have no windshield, no transmission, engine, the seat's missing, the trunk's gone, there's no plates, then we can open up a case for inoperable. But if we drive by and that car looks like it runs, even if the neighbor knows it doesn't, we don't stop. So there has to be something really obvious to us. Then on NPDS, we did field inspections of construction sites and that to make sure that all their best management practices were in place for stormwater runoff for when the rains came. And we're satisfied at this point that every job out there is in compliance to the best of their ability. I mean, depending on how hard the rains are. Any questions? Yeah.
Trees that grow over on somebody else's property. If somebody is aggressive and trims the trees a little too much and they die, I'm talking about the people that are being encroached on. What happens? What do you tell the people to do as far as trimming?
I have read one case that went to court over somebody killing the neighbor's tree. They had a very old oak tree. There was a dollar value to this tree. It was over 50 years old, and they killed it. Not only just trimming it, but killed it, and it went to court, and the property owner of the tree won. If you killed somebody's tree, they would have to take it to court, but it doesn't really happen. I mean, I don't see it happening. I know they could, but,
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot,
No.
I'm just trying to,
what I tell the property owner that doesn't want to trim the tree, that they should have an attorney just send a letter. I can't do it, because I don't have an ordinance that says that I can force somebody to trim their tree. But an attorney could send a letter saying that we believe your tree is hazardous, it's causing damage to this property. And then if there is damage, it shows that the property owner of the tree is already been made aware of it. And it just makes the complaining party's case stronger. But I don't know of anybody that takes it to court because a tree died from being trimmed.
hopefully,
It could happen.
the neighbor policy is in
Well, you know, and that's all
effect
civil.
most of the time.
Right, that's all civil. The best I can recommend to the complaining party is that they have an attorney send a letter to the tree owner.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Special enforcement, I think.
Probably took me longer to walk up here than it will to make this report. A lot of our activity comes under code enforcement, so I'm not going to be repetitive on that. What I normally talk about is the North Lake. That has been very quiet, except we got a lot of people that seem to think it's a dump area now. I've had several of those. I had 2 neighbor complaints come to me. These were neighbor versus neighbor. There's not a thing that the police could do about it, certainly nothing that I could do about it, except talk to them. In one case, I think I was able to successfully mediate it. In the other, I haven't heard any more, so I'm going to consider it mediated.
Yeah, those are ugly.
But other than that, as far as the North Lake goes, other than the dumping, there has been no shooting, and that's one of my big concerns. There's been, of course, this time of year, we're not going to get the jet skis out there. We seem to be getting the normal usage of legal things like hiking and horseback riding and mountain bikes and whatever. I mean, those things are, that's great, that's what it's there for. Any questions? Like I said, took longer to walk.
Thank you, Ivan. Do we have a written report from Peoria?
I have not received one.
Okay. Well, that completes the city reports. Any public comments? All those public people sitting back there. Committee member comments.
I'd just like to wish everybody a happy new year. Said that a few times already today, but Looking forward to a great new year.
And I will just give a very brief report on the fire committee. As you all know, we went out to bid for consultants to provide us with a bid for costs to start up our fire department. And it's not been hugely successful to this point. They have a few more days. I think there is, no, it's over. Yesterday it ended. So we will be reviewing what we've received and discussing where to go next from there. So it's not over yet, I guarantee you. Okay, staff comments. Okay.
Oh, I have one more comment. Even though the fire station is basically closed, 4 people on my committee have keys to get in there, and we do the county radio roll call once a month on the 3rd Wednesday of the month. So one of the 4 of us, myself or 3 other people, we take turns on doing it. So I have to do it every 4 months, each one of us do it every 4 months. And we are continuing to do that even though the fire station is closed. We go in, we make sure the radio works. If we have something big and we do open an EOC, we want to make sure that our communication with the county is intact and working. So we do that even though the fire station is actually closed. We do have a key to get in, and we do that every 3rd Wednesday at 8:15 in the morning. So
Thank you.
one of us is in there that morning, every month.
That's great, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thank you all. Have a good new year.
Especially if we have problems.
There was a,
Thank you.
We just want to be ready.
Well, that's all you can.
Yeah.